Hello everyone, good morning. So what a run Peloton has been on, and I try to do some trading on it. I usually don't trade large caps, so I wasn't doing the best trading on it. Although it's a ticker I'm up on the most, I definitely left some profits on the table. So I definitely want to go through PTON and obviously the other tickers I traded today. Overall was a bit of a wash day. I'm down $70, so it's a bit of a scratch day. It doesn't really feel like a red day because the losses are so small, but at the same time, I really didn't get on my flow soon enough. Like with Peloton, I was trading a few other tickers in the meantime that just didn't get the resolution I was looking for soon enough. And you'll see what I mean by that in a second. But let's start with Peloton first. And actually what I want to do, and something I usually don't do so much, is actually want to look at the news a little bit on Peloton. So this is a classic ticker that's, down like what is this, 85% on off its highs. I mean, a lot of these high flyer tickers are like that. We've been talking about it a lot lately. But this ticker had a triple bottom and it's really bouncing off of that zone, already up 67% or so, coming to big resistance right now around 38. And I was trying to trade some of that movement to the upside. I'm not sure if we're going to break 38 or so. There's huge resistance in this area that really stems back to where this was former resistance and then became support for this big long bull run that it had in 2020 ending in 2021. So this is just insane support and now new resistance. So I'm not really sure if we're going to break that, especially after the run we already had. But before we dive into the price action, let me just share some of the news with Peloton. So the CEO, John Foley, is stepping down and the firm is cutting 2.8 thousand jobs, and the firm is in talks right now with potentially being acquired. So there's a lot going on that seems like bullish news. And John Foley wasn't super for being bought out or acquired. So I think the fact that he's stepping down as CEO and joining the board might actually help with a sort of acquisition. But that's just speculation on my end. What I would recommend you guys to do is check out their quarterly results, which came out this morning, and it's a big reason Peloton is flying right now, besides just being totally depreciated and having a nice bottom bounce. And this came out at 8:30 Eastern time. I think overall this sounds pretty good. It seems like they're still growing very nicely. Obviously, a few things plateaued a little bit, but it seems to be a pretty good quarter overall. What I found really interesting is this letter here from John Foley, and it basically talks about his resignation as CEO. For several months, I've been working closely with our board of directors, discussing how best to ensure Peloton is built to last well into the future. This might be a foreshadow of acquisition. Among other actions being taken, together we have decided that now is the right time to introduce the next phase of leadership of this great company. It is with great pride in what the Peloton team has built and a recognition for where we need to go that I will be transitioning from my CEO role and will assume the role of executive chair of board directors. While I will always be Peloton's most loyal member and biggest supporter, I couldn't think of a better CEO for Peloton's next stage of growth than Barry McCarthy. Barry has served in several leadership roles at Spotify and Netflix and has been a long-term advisor and board member at public and private technology companies. So it goes on to talk about some leadership transitions, and then it also talks about, if you scroll down a little bit further, it's quite a long letter. Yeah, here it is. As part of the program, we announced a meaningful reduction of our workforce, and this is what this article was talking about, cutting 2.8 thousand jobs. So that is a huge cut of jobs, and obviously that frees up a lot of capital for Peloton. And after it's had its huge explosive growth phase, it makes sense that now you need to get lean again, figure out what's really working, figure out what's the most effective thing for this company to make profits. So all these moves totally make sense for me, and that's why I think the bounce has been so bullish. When fully implemented, we expect our restructuring initiatives to yield at least $800 million in annual run rate cost savings across operating expense efficiencies and material improvements in our Connect Fitness group margin. So yeah, I guess as long as you're not an employee being cut at Peloton, this is quite bullish news overall, especially I believe if I was a long-term investor, which I'm not. But this seems pretty good and also really sets itself up for a good acquisition, because let's say if Peloton was to be acquired and they didn't do this big cut, those employees would probably be cut anyway. So this probably gives them better bargaining chips at the table. But again, that's just my speculation and why I believe Peloton is having such a strong bounce today with really good volume. Another reason is just because there's not a lot to trade. So any trader right now that is looking for any sort of momentum like me, that's usually maybe a small cap trader or a different type of trader, is looking at Peloton because it's one of our lead gappers with the biggest amount of dollar volume that's actually tradable. That's always a big thing too. So like SOPA, for example, it's up 50%, but you'll see in the chart in a second, it's pretty nasty. So Peloton is just very nice to be traded. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. You can see how I did my trading here on this ticker. First, yesterday I did a little bit of trading on it, but that was pretty much break even. And then today, they sold off before their earnings came out at 8:30, and then after that, it took a while for people to digest it, it looks like, but eventually just really hit the ground running and pretty much ran 30% since that consolidation zone after earnings. And what I was pretty much doing was trading this one like a classic front side ticker. The problem is, since I usually don't trade large caps, the front side of large caps usually take a lot longer to play out, and I'll get cold feet and sell either too soon or for a scratch. So it's not really my bread and butter kind of ticker, but that's fine. I was still able to milk some profits out of it. Right now, it's actually pulling back really nicely to the 9 EMA. This could be a good pullback. Even if it doesn't work, there might be a little bit of a dead cat bounce here before it continues selling off. I really overall like this big resistance here, so trading all the way to this zone definitely made sense to me. I wish I tried to capitalize on that a little bit more, because once we broke here, had that pullback, I made one of my last main trades, and then after that, we had that nice 7-8% rally, and I really didn't capitalize on that part at all. I really made most of my money right here, and then a little bit pre-market as well. And then I think even my last trade, I lost like a small chunk. And then just showing you guys the 1 minute really quickly, you can see this is really where I started getting aggressive on it again. We had that good 5 minute setup here. I bought one of the fake outs to the downside. I sold on the pop. And then again, I took this breakout trade. And then I took this retest trade right here. And then, yeah, this was my last trade actually, where I got kind of shaken out. And yeah, right now we're having that sell off. So overall, I guess I'm pretty happy how I traded Peloton. I just, I could have done definitely better, but that's always the case. I think really my mistake today, trading not necessarily tickers I'm not good at, but setups I'm not good at. So with NVCT, for example, let's talk about this one. NVCT on the 5 minute, this ticker was kind of ranging here, and then we had this quick backside move, and I was looking for a red to green move, and which actually I ended up getting, but my red to green move on it, I didn't make that much profit because I got a small size. I only got 100 share fill here when I was really looking for like 1,000 shares, and I made like 5% on this pop, took profits, and then it flushed again here, and I actually re-entered looking for again like a nice little 3, 4, 5% pop. Unfortunately, this time it flushes to the backside, and I get stuck in this hold. I don't even have the worst entry, and overall I'm pretty okay. And right here I was almost at break even. I was about to close my position, but I was waiting for a little bit more of a pop. We didn't get that, sold off again, and then I sold the rest of my size here, basically erasing these profits and having an overall loss, which was a little bit annoying because I should have not been trading this on the backside. Honestly, I think this red to green move right here was actually pretty good on my end. I do like those red to green moves, but I think this trade was a bit of a revenge trade because I didn't get my full size here. This was a classic backside trade, and I really don't like trading backsides, especially on small caps. It hasn't been working very well for me, so this trade I should have never done that second trade. It was just nonsense, and yeah, there you have it. I lost 330 on that one, so shame on me for that. With SOPA, it's actually a similar situation. Let's go here on the daily first. Backside ticker, maybe it's in a range right now with high relative volume. 20 million shares outstanding, 99 million market cap. So it is a smaller cap company that usually I'd be looking for. I'm not even really sure if there's any ticker catalyst really on it, but there is just news, general news on this ticker. But then let's go to the 5 minute. Well, actually, let's just go to the main chart here. On the 5 minute, the price action on this one's pretty ugly, and it's really not something I'm usually so interested in. It had a really good red to green move, so I wish I was a bit more focused on this one. It's kind of similar to the red to green move that we potentially saw in NVCT. If you guys remember, we had this green pop and then a sell-off, and then what SOPA had was a continuation from here, and that's what I was looking for with NVCT. So I kind of picked the wrong ticker. So let's just go back to SOPA really quickly, and you'll see that had that sell-off, this would have been a great entry around 6% down from the open. Popped up here, and then once it broke about VWAP, it was nicely on a front side, and that's when I did a small trade here. But look at that, I just closed out way too soon, which was a little frustrating. I took like a $30 profit on that one, even though it ran 15%, and then it halted in this area. I got a good entry here, but again, I actually ended up taking a loss on this one, and I was just like kind of annoyed because like I always had the right idea. It actually ended up working every time, but somehow I constantly took red trades on it, and I don't know, SOPA for me was just a little frustrating to trade, and no surprise. I mean, the price action on this one's pretty ugly, so yeah, it was kind of tough. And then AREB up $30 on this one, total scratch more or less. Very weird ticker overall, coming from like a total penny stock here. Maybe it had a reverse split. That's probably what happened. I'm not even really sure. So let's just look at the 1 minute, see how I went ahead and traded this one. And typically, I'm not really touching tickers that, sell off 33%. It's just rough. But, I got to say on the 5 minute, this ticker did kind of make a decent setup here. Right around this area, I bought low, looking for that move past $4. So this one actually worked out. I just didn't really use big size. And also my first entry wasn't really that great. And then I, sized down a little bit more here in this area. And eventually I just kind of scratched out because I felt like, this could easily flush if it doesn't break $4 strongly. And that's exactly what happened. So I had the right mentality behind AREB, knowing that this is a really sketchy and dangerous ticker, so it's probably better I just get out of it. So really in the end today, I'm just focusing on my bread and butter setups, and that's front side, which PTON Peloton was on, and really nailing that. SOPA, maybe I could have done better on that one, but definitely not NVCT. I should have just not traded that one altogether, especially after that red to green move, which was an okay trade, but everything after that red to green move was a backside total fail, so I should have avoided that one. And yeah, if I just did everything the same but did less and really focused on the best setups, it would have been a nice green day, not like a big green day, but just at least green. And a lot of times that's what trading boils down to, really staying focused on your bread and butter setups and avoiding everything that's sketchy. So I did not do a really good job today at avoiding the sketchy stuff, so it totally makes sense that today is a slightly red day for me. So I hope tomorrow I'm a little bit more focused on A quality setups and not being bored and trading nonsense like today. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that recap. Don't forget to drop a like on the way out. Consider subscribing if you're new. We'd love to have you part of the community. And like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao, guys.